Welcome to Embracing Love. We'll begin today with a meditation. So we can close our eyes, start to settle into our seats, start to unwind from the day, unplug from the frantic pace of life, settle into this moment, settle into our bodies. You can feel our feet connecting us to the ground, feel our hips connecting us to our seat. Feel our shoulders above our hips. Feel our head above our shoulders. Let's take a deep, full inhale, breathing in, feeling the lungs expand. And then exhale, starting to let go of the day, let go of stress, let go of tension. Settle into this moment. Let's begin by bringing our awareness to our toes. Start to imagine our toes relaxing. You can start by first wiggling the toes and connecting with each individual toe, then allowing the toes to be still, relax. And imagining the feet relaxing, the balls of the feet, the arches of the feet, the heels, the tops of the feet. Allowing the feet to completely relax. And let's imagine our ankles relaxing. Inside of the ankles, the outside, the front, the back, the Achilles tendon. Allowing the ankles to fully relax. As this relaxation spreads up into the lower legs, calf muscles, the shin bone, the inner leg, the outer leg. Might feel good to squeeze those lower leg muscles for a moment and then allow them to relax, allowing the lower legs to fully relax. Then we can feel this calm, soothing relaxation moving into the knees, kneecap, sides of the knee, back of the knee. Allowing knees to completely relax. And feeling this soothing relaxation spreading up to the upper legs. Those big quadricep muscles on top, hamstrings on the bottom, the inner thigh, the outer thigh, big femur bone in the middle. If it feels good, you can clench those upper leg muscles for a moment and then allow them to relax. Feeling the entire legs relaxed. Next, we can feel this relaxation moving into the hips, front of the hips, the sides of the hips, the back of the hips, the pelvis. Allowing the hips to completely relax. And feeling this relaxation spreading up into the abdomen, the lower belly, the sides of the abdomen, the back, the lower back, the lumbar spine, as well as the organs inside, the intestine, liver, the kidneys. If there's any tension or tightness in your insides, you can breathe deeply into that tension, and then the exhale, allow it to dissolve, allowing any tightness, any tension in your midsection completely dissolve. Might feel good to clench those abdominal muscles for just a moment and allow them to relax. allowing the midsection to feel completely relaxed and calm. Then we can imagine this relaxation moving up into the torso, through the lower ribs, sides of the ribs, the back of the ribs, the sternum, as well as the heart and the stomach and the lungs inside, allowing the torso to completely relax and unwind. And then we can feel this soothing relaxation moving up into the shoulders now, collarbones, tops of the shoulders, the sides of the shoulders, shoulder blades and back, spine in between the shoulder blades. Feels good. You can roll the shoulders up to the ears and down and back, allowing them to be still, allowing the shoulders to completely relax. Then we can feel this relaxation moving down into the arms now, feeling the armpits relax, to the upper arms, the biceps, the triceps, bone in between, the inner arm, the outer arm. Might feel good to flex those upper arm muscles for a moment and allow them to be still, allowing the upper arms to fully relax. And feeling this relaxation spreading into the elbows, crease on the inside of the elbows, the bony point and back, the inside, the outside. Feeling relaxation throughout the elbows. And feeling this calm, soothing relaxation working its way down into the forearms. All those little forearm muscles might feel good to clench the forearm muscles for a moment and allow them to relax. Allowing the forearms to completely relax, the sides of the forearms, the inner forearm, the outer forearm. Feeling relaxation throughout the entire forearm. And feeling the wrists relax, inside of the wrist, the outside. Allowing the wrists to completely relax. As this relaxation moves down into the hands now, back of the hands, the palms of the hands, the thumbs, the knuckles, fingers. Feel good to wiggle the fingers, bringing your awareness to each individual finger, and then allowing the hands to be still, allowing the hands to fully relax. Now let's move our awareness up to the neck, to the throat, sides of the neck, the back of the neck. Maybe it feels good to tilt the head one direction, stretching the neck, and then the other, stretching those neck muscles, allowing any tension to dissolve from the neck. Feeling the neck fully relaxed. Then we can feel this relaxation as it moves up into the jaw. Maybe you move the jaw back and forth, release any tension there, and allow the jaw to relax. Feeling the mouth relax, the teeth, the tongue, the lips. And feeling the cheeks relax, the nose, the eyes, the eyelids, the eyeballs, the eyebrows, the spot in between the eyebrows, the forehead. Might feel good to scrunch up the face for a moment and allow it to completely relax, allowing all tension to drain from the face, allowing the forehead to completely relax. Feeling this relaxation moving into the sides of the head, the ears, temples, feeling the relaxation moving into the back of the head, and coming up around the curve of the skull, rounding up to the crown of the head, feeling the entire head fully relaxed. Now let's take another one of those deep, full inhales, breathing in deeply, feeling the ribs expand. On the exhale, imagine a wave of relaxation washing down your entire body, from the crown of your head down through the torso, through the legs, through the feet, washing away all stress, all tension. Let it all wash down out of your body into the ground. Let's do that again, breathing in fully. As you exhale, feeling this relaxation cascading down your body, washing away all tension, all tightness, all negativity. Let it all wash down out of your body to the ground. Let's do that one final time. Inhaling, feeling the chest expand, feeling the belly expand. And on the exhale, let it all go, let it all wash down, let the day wash away any negativity, any energy you picked up from other people, anything that's not serving you. Let it all wash down out of your body into the ground. Now, as we sit here for a few minutes, you can either sit in stillness or you can focus on the breath. Maybe you count your inhales, slowly counting from 1 to 5 as you inhale. And then slowly counting from 1 to 5 as you exhale. Allowing each exhale to wash away any thoughts that arise. Wash away any distractions, any sensations in the body. Let everything wash away with the exhale. And when you're feeling ready, you can start to deepen your inhales. Start to bring your attention back to the shared space. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, rejoin us. If anyone's curious, I like to do that little bow at the end of a meditation, just to say thanks for the opportunity to meditate. Not really bowing to anyone or to anything. It's just expression of gratitude for taking that time to relax and unplug, just in case anyone's wondering. So how's everyone doing today after that relaxation? I'm feeling more settled and present.
That was great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
There were a couple things that you said too, that you said we can, but when you were going into the next thing, but what I heard was weekend. And then I went to this magical place of like, the weather was nice and I was on the beach and you were like going through my body check-in, but at the same time, I was just really like the energy was really, really nice. And so I like that a lot. Thank you.
Oh, cool. Great.
That's lovely. I love it.
Yeah.
I needed that. Thanks, Matt. Feeling much better.
Absolutely.
Great. Yeah, so tonight I thought we could talk about heart-centered shadow work. And so shadow work and the shadow in general, it's one of those topics that can seem kind of daunting, can seem kind of scary or negative. It can seem like hard work, something that we have to force ourselves to do. And the shadow often gets a bad rap. And that's because it's in the shadow are the things that society has taught us are bad about ourselves, that we've been conditioned by our parents or by our school, by our teachers or by employers. It's all the things that we've been taught are bad about ourselves, things that are wrong with us, our character flaws, our defects, or how we're weak or wrong in any sense. And that's really a shame because all of those things in the shadow, all of the compulsive desires that we have, all the unhealthy patterns that we have, all the things that cause us to harm ourselves or cause us to harm other people, those are all just expressions of the unresolved wounds within us. Those are all coping mechanisms that we learned to deal with the repressed emotions from the wounds or traumatic events that we experienced, that we didn't have the support or the knowledge or the ability to work through those emotions at the time when the wound happened. And so we repress them, and then we develop these coping mechanisms or defense mechanisms to protect ourselves from feeling more pain, especially if we're in situations where the same kind of wound keeps occurring over and over again. We develop these coping mechanisms to protect us from those wounds. And then oftentimes these coping mechanisms can tend to negatively affect our relationships and affect ourselves negatively throughout the rest of our lives. But all of these bad quality, all these character defects, they're all defense mechanisms that we had to develop to protect ourselves. And so shadow work or examining our subconscious, if it's done in a way that's not careful, it can just make us feel bad about ourselves. If we just look at what's wrong with ourselves without looking at the underlying cause, it can cause us to just list all the things that are wrong with us and cause us to make us feel like we're horrible people because we have all these things in our shadow, all these bad traits, all these negative character defects. But used in a healthy, loving, or heart-centered way, examining our shadow can lead us to the parts of ourselves that just need more love. It can lead us to the wounds that are at the core of these unhealthy patterns that cause us to harm ourselves or harm others. And so one example from my personal life, I know I've talked about this before, but for a long time, for most of my adult life, I had a very unhealthy pattern in relationships, in romantic relationships, where I would, go through this period of initial infatuation where I was totally consumed in love. And then after the infatuation wore off, this wall would come up within me and I would withdraw emotionally from the relationship. And so I repeated this over and over again throughout my adult life, causing lots of pain for my partners and for myself. And so just looking at it like that, if I only looked at the shadow, if I only looked at what's wrong, it made me seem like a bad person because I would do this over and over again. I would get into a relationship and then withdraw and cause a lot of pain. It was only just recently, working with my therapist, I was finally able to get to the root of that pattern, get to the root of that unhealthy pattern and find a wound from my childhood where the reason I would withdraw emotionally is because I was afraid of losing love. I was afraid of having love and then losing it. And so to protect myself, because I experienced a loss of love in my childhood. And so to protect myself from losing love again, I would emotionally withdraw from the relationship, because if I wasn't emotionally invested, then I couldn't lose the love. I couldn't be hurt again. And so once I finally identified that wound at the core of this unhealthy pattern, then I could start giving love to that wound, giving love to my 7-year-old self that experienced that loss of love. So I'm starting to heal that wound. And hopefully moving forward, I won't have to repeat that unhealthy pattern. And so it's critical. It's very important that when we look at our dark sides, when we look at the parts of ourselves that society has told us that should be ashamed of, that we're gentle with ourselves, that we keep looking until we find the wound driving the unhealthy pattern. Because our society teaches us that these bad things about ourselves, our society just conditions us to try to ignore them because we learn that if we have them, it means we're bad people. So that teaches us just to try to ignore them, just to try to pretend they're not there, just to try to repress the pattern, repress the compulsive desire instead of examining it and figuring out what's driving it and finding the wound that's underneath it. And so it's very important for us to, if we choose to look at the shadow, if we choose to dive into our unconscious, that we do so looking for the place that needs more love instead of looking for what's wrong with us. And so I think that's about all I have to say about that. Any questions or comments? Anyone want to chime in on that? Or we could meditate and then come back and discuss it more after that, if that sounds more appealing.
I could say something, or we could wait, whatever.
Go ahead, go for it.
Right. Well, yeah, I know I've spoken quite a bit about shadow work because, we're both kind of alternating on this topic. And definitely always kind of assumed that this would all be emotional stuff. And I definitely have some things that have come up from when I was a small child. And just in, I guess, was it maybe Saturday's meditation, doing more inner child stuff, or maybe it was Tuesday, I don't remember. But an interesting thing came up where I'm realizing that I had this impression that I wasn't allowed to feel actual pain, like physical pain, or it was a weakness. It like, you don't show your vulnerability, don't show that weakness, play through the pain and zip it, basically. And it's interesting. I met with my therapist today, and it's really interesting with working through this and talking about it. I'm actually feeling this physical pain, which there is no, like, in today's present day, there is no rhyme or reason for this pain, but it's here. And I guess it's just time to look at it, address it, and give it more love. So I'm trying to, like, put myself in this headspace of, okay, so when I was that age and I was hurting, when I was forced to just pretend it wasn't happening, what would I have wanted? What does it look like to love that version of me? And I'm struggling with that a little bit. I'm not sure, because I never allowed myself to even acknowledge it, let alone otherwise. I mean, through it, as I got older, it was just take a freaking handful of ibuprofen and drink and just forget about it. And that didn't turn out so great. So what's a healthy way of addressing this? And I'm having a hard time with it. I think I need to sit and write it down and try to put myself in that headspace and work it out and give myself a little TLC, because it's new territory.
Yeah, well, I think maybe, I mean, the first step is just allowing yourself to feel the pain. Just as unpleasant as it is. But I know for me, I had a lot of repressed emotions that, in particular, that I've been learning to express. And I mean, part of that was just through various kind of exercises, especially this one breathwork retreat I went to. I spent a lot of time just crying, just so, like, sometimes we have to experience now the emotions, or I guess even physical pain, that we weren't allowed to experience when we were younger, because it gets trapped in our body, and unfortunately, it's gotta come out, it's gotta be felt, it's gotta be experienced, as unpleasant as it is.
So Matt, you were just talking about how stuff gets, like, trapped in the body. So people who have been through, like, traumatic situations often do have physical symptoms, and they sometimes come as autoimmune, arthritis, cancer, stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, that explains everything.
Definitely, yeah.
I brought that up. Oh my gosh, as a healer, I see this in other people all the time, and then it happens to me, and I'm like, what is going on? This is crazy. Oh, yeah. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, absolutely. That's touching on so much stuff too. I just got attuned in Reiki too, and I just working with this is all really so closely related to where I'm at right now. And I was watching some stuff earlier about what's his name, Ram Dass, and I don't know if you've ever heard of him or not. It was really interesting because I have heard of a lot of people really close to who he is, but then today was the first day at 47 that I've ever heard about him or seen anything from him, and it was really interesting to me to see. It's like a letting go that he was explaining, and it is with that the constructs of what is a good person and who we're supposed to be, and all these constructs. And when we come here, he explained it like we get this astronaut suit and we're born into it, and then we have to learn how to use all the functions that go along with it, but it's really not who we are. It's this suit that we put on, this human suit that we put on. And it really came back a lot when you were talking about shadow work too. I don't know, just because I'm just working with Reiki and learning really when it's profound and when it's less profound and for who. My nephew called me and he was having some issues, and I felt a lot of stuff happening. Like I could really felt like I was tapping into his stuff, and I noticed that he had two really dark attachments, and I felt them, and one of them I honestly believe was his inner child. And I could see like this total sadness. And when I was talking him through it, and I was like, and you got to remember to breathe. And I was talking him through it, and he got really quiet. And because he was on the other end of the phone, I couldn't really, I understood that there was a lot of energy being passed at that particular moment. But then he stopped and he said, "What just happened?" And I said, "Are you okay? What do you mean, what just happened?" And he said, "Well, my tears, like tears just started pouring out of my eyes." He's like, "I just felt, you know," and I was like, I'm just like, "I'm embracing your inner child right now. This is stuff that, you know, we're sending this area love and we're doing what we can." But also with knowing it's just really, this is just really cathartic, like really, really good class tonight and really lined up with so much that's going on in my life right now. So cool, good stuff. Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. I got some goosebumps when you were talking about that with your nephew. That sounds really powerful.
It really was. And it was the first time that I've had quite that experience with having been attuned. And so, like, and I went back and checked on him again later and like wrapped him with white light and made sure he was protected and everything. But I wanted to like call him and say, "Hey, look, I'm sorry," because I didn't realize it was going to have that profound of an effect that quickly because we were just in a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to apologize. Sorry,
Yeah.
I tapped into that, you know, but, or that, you know, it was tapped into, not that I did, but you know what I mean.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, just cool. Really, really good energy. So thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow. Yeah. It's amazing how it all comes together like that. Yeah. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Cool. Cool. All right. Well, let's meditate. So we can find a comfortable seat, close our eyes, settle into our bodies once more. Let's take a deep, full inhale, breathing in, and then exhale, releasing, letting go of those kind of heavy topics we were talking about, just letting all that emotion wash down out of the body, relaxing, letting go of the past. So for this meditation, I invite you to imagine you're holding in your arms some kind of innocent little being, maybe a small innocent child, an infant, or a little puppy or a little kitten, some little helpless innocent being. Maybe your child when they were an infant, maybe your pet when they were a tiny little baby. So you're holding this helpless little baby in your arms, and you can feel that they're cold and they're scared and they're shaking. You can feel them trembling in your arms. So imagine the love and the care that you would want this little innocent being to feel. Imagine how tightly you would squeeze them, how much you would love them. Imagine the kind, loving things you would say to them. Allow yourself to feel that love that you would pour into this helpless little being that's in your arms. And notice what that feels like. How does that love feel? And you feel it in your body, in your heart, in your chest, in your torso, maybe in your throat. Remember what that love feels like, or imagine what that love feels like. That love and protection and care that you would want to give to this helpless little being. So now that we're imagining that feeling of love, now as we inhale, let's breathe that love into our own chests, into our torso. As we're breathing in, maybe you see beautiful colors swirling around in your chest, maybe pastel pinks and purples, or maybe a golden white light, or a golden reddish light, however it appears to you. We're inhaling, we're breathing in this love into our chest. And now on the exhale, imagine you're focusing that love right into your own heart. If it feels good, you can put your hands on the center of your chest over your heart space, your heart chakra. So we're inhaling, we're breathing in, feeling that love, seeing that love fill our chest. And then exhale, funneling that love right into our own heart. Maybe you see your heart surrounded by love, surrounded by light or colors. Breathing in, inhaling, breathing this love into our chest. And exhale, focusing that love into our own heart. See or feel your heart just bathed in love, bathed in healing and warmth and compassion. Seeing it filling in all the cracks in your heart, all the wounds in your heart. Allow the love to seep in, heal your heart. So let's do that. Continue that on your own for a few minutes. Imagining breathing that love into chest and exhaling that love right into your own heart. Now that we're in this space of love, this safe space, free of judgment, full of acceptance, full of love, I invite you to call into your mind one of your, something from your shadow, one of your unhealthy patterns, one of your compulsive desires. Allow yourself to think of that, and try to feel if there's a feeling underlying that. There's some kind of, imagine yourself in that pattern. Imagine yourself feeling that compulsive desire. What do you feel in your body? Underneath the surface, underneath the compulsion, underneath the pattern, is there some kind of pain? Is there some kind of fear? Maybe try to imagine the first time you felt this compulsion, the first time you acted out this pattern. And whatever comes up, maybe it doesn't even make sense. Whatever comes up, that's right. Just allow your intuition to guide you. Whatever comes up, if it's a feeling, if it's time in your life, give some of this love to that. Maybe it's a younger version of yourself. Maybe you just directly feel that wound in your heart. Just give love to it. Imagine wrapping your arms around your younger self or your current self. You can even do that now. Wrap your arms around yourself, give yourself a hug, give yourself a squeeze. Give yourself the love that was missing when that wound happened. Give yourself the love that was missing when that pattern formed, when that compulsion formed. It's not your fault, no matter what you've been told, no matter the shame you've been made to feel. It's not your fault. You're doing your best. You're protecting yourself. Just give yourself more love. And you imagine continuing to breathe that love into your younger self. Allow that love to fill in the darkness. Allow that love to fill in the wound. Allow yourself to feel whatever you couldn't feel at the time. Let the love in. Let the light into that wound, to that shadow. When we heal the underlying wound, then the compulsion starts to fade, and the pattern starts to fade. You're feeling ready. Start to breathe deeply into your body. Start to come back into this present moment, back into your adult self now. Coming back from the past, coming back from the shadow. Closing any doors. Might feel good to start brushing your head, brushing your body, brushing away the past, brushing away any negativity from the past. Just wipe it out of your consciousness now. Anything heavy come up, just brush it away now, release it in the ground. Let your exhales help wash it out of your body now. Release it back to Mother Earth. Coming back to this present moment, back to this shared space, leaving the past in the past. So I'll take one deep healing inhale, breathing in the nourishing, cleansing air. And exhale. Again, feel relaxation washing down the body, washing away anything that came up, washing away the past. Let it all ground down into the earth. Coming back to this space of love, this space of complete acceptance. When you're ready, you can open your eyes and rejoin us. So we're running out of time, but if anyone wants to share anything, anyone has any comments or questions about that, love to hear it.
That was really cool. I found a situation from so long ago that aligned with so much of, like you're saying, this pattern that I carried that I had never even seen before. And the minute that you said, like, feel it like you should have been able to feel it then, I had this immense sadness. And then I watched it dissolve, like it literally dissolved. Like it was, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Like, I don't even, that was good stuff. Thank you.
I'm
Wow.
glad to hear it. That makes my heart happy.
That was really like hadn't even made the connection before between this. I mean, from when I was 15 years old, you know, like your
Sure.
first love, you know, and then you make that connection and you're like, I never have to do that again. That's really, wow, what a great hour this has been. My gosh, like scratching my head. Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. That's wonderful.
That is so rad, Faith. And just hearing that from you just took me out of a dark place. So thank you so much.
Well, that's good because we don't need dark places.
Right. Right. Yeah. I needed that a lot. Just brought it more, still dealing with the physical pain that comes along with it, but it's been a day, but I needed that. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. It is funny too, the connection between physical pain and old stuff that we hang on to as well, because I did feel that in different places in my body that I didn't realize that I was holding it. Like, I felt pain in my head and I'm like, wow, I've been having this reoccurring kind of headache thing. And it really is good stuff. So
Yeah.
thank you.
It's all connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
The body, the heart, the mind, emotions, all connected.